Yes, if you'd like to speak, come to the podium, I guess we'll get it all out.
I'm just wondering, as far as these audits go, isn't it your responsibility to make sure they're completed each year, rather than finding out 2 years ago they weren't done? And
Yes, it is.
also, was Matt Gala not a bonded employee of this borough?
No, he was not.
Why? Isn't that also your responsibility to make sure we are holding?
He was advised to get bonded. The bonding was in the budget. Unfortunately, again, this council wants to take the blame a little bit. The ball was dropped.
Not a little bit.
He did not. The ball was dropped. Not a lot of it. The ball was dropped, and nobody saw the paper. It was in the budget for him to get up, for him to get bonded.
He did say.
He did not get bonded. He said he got bonded.
Excuse me.
Did we check the
What's your
paperwork?
name?
No.
What's her name?
Yeah.
Bonnie Weber.
Bonnie Weber. Boom.
That's it, Bonnie, what happened. The council has to take blame in the part of, it was in the budget, the money was there, it wasn't used, who could get a bond? And did we double check it? We did not. And that's on every member of council, except for Rick, he wasn't here.
Okay, and then the only other question I had was, why wait so long to advertise for outside funding? It was just, did you say it was just advertised the other day? When we've known this is gonna be a problem for quite a while.
It was advertised yesterday.
Yesterday.
We approved doing that, this past Monday night. I've only been in this seat now for 24 days. We've been pretty much moving it like, the speed of light here. Literally on a daily basis, there are things that were going on. So, we did have hope, and our former interim manager had hope that we would get a conventional loan. Obviously, we wanted to try that route first, and there's been a little bit of overlap. We still have one conventional bank, but we're not holding out much hope that that's going to happen. We did move pretty quickly, Mayor.
I think that's important that Harry Falk, since he's been acting as the manager, he has pursued, and I have to say this because I pester him every day about a tax anticipation loan. I don't know, how many banks did you call, Harry? 9? 12. Everyone turned us down outside of the one that we're still waiting to hear from. And with that happening after this past Monday's meeting, when it became so evident that no one was going to step to the plate for us, we talked about using private funding if we can get it to do this tax anticipation, which we did. Today we did it and we advertised for it. So if there's others out there and you get advertised for it, right? So if they want to, present us with better terms, then we'll take. I think we'll do it up until we get our money, our revenues from our real estate taxes.
Okay, so then just to clarify, the loan, if it's able to be secured, will stave off any type of layoffs for
Yes.
how long?
2 months.
By then the money that by then we'll be
We don't anticipate any layoffs if we get that.
It's a bridge
tax
loan.
revenue comes.
It's a bridge.
Okay,
It'll get us past the bad.
Thank you.
thank you.
Harry, I just want to make a comment that we have enough. We have enough money for the February 14th payroll. We do have enough money for that. And the next payroll is February 28th. Now, the deadline that we advertise for that money is to get that money by the 20th of February. So 1 week before the end of the month payroll. So if the lender does come through, we will have money for the next payroll, for the 28th payroll, and pay all the bills for the rest of February and March. And if we put out the tax loan or the tax notices starting next week, we'll start getting more money in the February and March. And we should be okay. We should be.
And what if we don't
Really, I've
pay
been
it?
stressing about it.
What if we don't pay our taxes? Well, I'm coming up to your house, Cole. Being
honest with you, Rick, I think you ought to resign as mayor.
Okay, you wanna
I
take
think,
over?
yeah,
Come on.
yeah, get out of there, I'll take over. We'll move. Yeah, see that, you don't want, you wanna quit being the mayor, Ray. You, everything you do, you think we're great people and then you screw us.
Cut the mayor a break tonight. Thank
Pretty
you.
good.
Yes, ma'am.
You do a good job, too.
I just have a question about the 911 service.
Yes.
How much is it gonna cost to implement, and do we have to buy the equipment to actually implement the 911 service?
We don't have the exact numbers on that yet, they're still being developed. It's gonna probably be in the neighborhood of about $170,000. We anticipate doing that on a lease and putting like 20% down on the equipment. We had a very effective meeting today with the people from 911. For anybody, half the council was there, our public safety people were there. And I think, you know, we anticipated inviting an 800-pound gorilla to the room, and when we all got together and they all started talking the same language, it was kind of more like the Cookie Monster. It was a very effective meeting. Chief, do you want to make any comments on the meeting?
I thought the meeting went pretty smoothly. We had some questions, Matt Sarchek and myself had some questions at 911. They were able to answer us to our satisfaction at this point.
Well, my question is, if we don't have money, why are we gonna spend money when the system works just fine?
Because it's still gonna save us in excess of $150,000 a year. And like the mayor said, it's a duplication, and I think when you look around and people say, well, how come this community has this, and how come that community's roads aren't falling apart? If you look at it as a one-year savings of $175, or eventually a $200,000 a year savings, we have to look at that as 10 years. And in 10 years, that's $2 million that we can put back into infrastructure, parks, roads, and then we'll have some of the things that other communities have. These are tough decisions. You know, interestingly enough, you know, when you go to that meeting, we're not third in line. We're not fifth. We're 100. They've done 130 of these. We're one of the last. And I'd like to say we had the money to keep up with the technology, but we can't. I mean, it's a public safety hazard when they were closing down Keystone Plumbing, and they turned off the electric. And Munhall didn't have one of its repeaters, and people couldn't talk. And we have a repeater up with it on St. Teresa's, Pat. You know, if that goes down, we don't have all this redundancy and building backups to keep our people out there safe. But the Allegheny 911 does.
And the paramedics couldn't find her.
And
The long
that-
hollow drive didn't exist.
And that person apparently was disciplined. They looked into that, and somebody made, it was
And
human
that's just
error.
one example out of
It is.
many.
Or the guy had a heart attack at Carnegie Library and sent medics to the library in Carnegie,
It has happened.
near library.
It has
That's
happened.
one of the
Yes, Mike, come on up.
My name's Mike Fliska. I've been wondering this question, no one's asked it here at all, except for Mr. Brennan, because you wasn't on council. Former borough manager, what was his salary, $60,000 a year?
I think he finished at 60.
A year?
Yes.
Okay, and this is what you printed up. This is your budget.
That was one of the.
Jim, one of them, one of them.
One of them.
Can we agree to that?
I don't know if that's a final or
From January 1st.
a. Okay.
Okay, the borough manager in 2011, his salary was $147,430. You guys paid him. 2012, $147,146. And half of 2013, $67,419. Why was he paid so much money when his salary was $60,000? You wrote it. Now, this is a 2014 amended draft of January 15,
I
2014.
believe, and I didn't print that document, but we all saw that document. It was something that we used in budget preparation. And, I believe that number might be part of the investigation that's going on, so I don't
How
know
did
if
you
we
know?
can comment on it.
How did you guys come up with it? Mr. Powell, you were president at the time. How did you guys come up with that number?
I didn't come up with that number, our manager did.
Which we're manager.
The interim burn.
Let's just do this. Who was the one that did the sheet that Mike's looking at right now? You did it. So we have, until Harry came in, Mike, we've never seen that sheet. And the former borough manager was already gone. Huh? But Harry did it.
I had it from up here.
But Harry was the one that did it.
But they didn't look at it.
We didn't know. We looked at it. We did not see that sheet last year. We did not see that sheet in
That's
2012
one
or
last
11,
question, I'll
Mike.
be quiet.
Oh, no, you're right, Mike. Is that right?
Has anyone thought
Harry
of
was
going
the one
back to get
discovered
Becky
that.
Weir? Go crawling back to Becky Weir, never come, run the borough again. She ran it since 1974. Perfectly fine.
I'd call her back tomorrow.
Crawling on your hands and knees, I'd go back to Becky Weir. Even though my paycheck was a little screwed up every time.
I drive her to
But I knew I was getting paid. I knew, she knew the job, she knew the business, and I knew I was getting paid. My wife and child are here, because you're not worried about, am I gonna put food on the table?
And I gotta tell you, Mike, you know, one of the things that we've discussed, and we interviewed some manager candidates, and the biggest problem probably that we face here is accurate financial reporting, unfortunately. And we've hired a CPA to come in and start to help us do that.
Do it all.
Well, to do proper financial reporting. And those numbers that you're seeing in there were not the budgeted numbers, but those numbers got plugged in after we got information back from the IRS.
That's being investigated.
Mike,
$160,000 you ever paid yourself.
Mike, technology-wise, Becky had a hard time keeping up, and it intimidated her, but she knew when the audits had to be done. No one knew better than she did.
I'm not complaining. Once in a while, be short $100 here and there. I'll go back.
And when you say that, we don't take that lightly, because I was told when I got here 6 years ago, that we haven't produced a paycheck right in 17 years.
I agree
And
with
I
that.
said, we should be able to fix that, but it still hadn't been fixed. It's
Still not.
you're getting fixed now.
You're still not.
Have the money to bring in. I said, we don't have no money, but in the same word, you just said you're hiring somebody. Well, who's gonna pay that person? We
It's
can't
in
afford
the
to pay
budget,
what's here.
sir. It's in the budget. It may turn out to be the best $5,000.
It seems like everything's in the budget to benefit you guys, but us, we gotta work.
Well, it benefits you that our financial reporting is correct. No, you were operating.
Excuse me?
You were
She
operating.
can have my food.
I just want to
Mine
ask,
too.
when's the next meeting?
Our regular meeting, I believe.
No,
is
when's the next
19th.
meeting that you're gonna deal with the county loan? When you find out, you get the loan?
We will probably have to call a special meeting once we find out what the status of the loan is. It will be